Rome doesn't stop for anyone. Not for presidents, not for popes, not for the kind of fame that breaks the internet every single week. But on May 11th, 2026, something happened inside the Foro Italico that made even the marble statues pay attention. And nobody, not the tournament officials, not the cameras, not the 40,000 people packed into that stadium, saw it coming. There was a 20-year-old girl on that court, ranked 42nd in the world, about to walk into a match against the second-best player on the planet. And sitting in the front row, hidden behind oversized sunglasses, was one of the most recognizable humans alive. She hadn't told anyone she was coming. She hadn't posted about it. She just showed up. And what she witnessed over the next hour and 32 minutes would change everything. For her, for the girl on the court, and for a sport that had never seen anything quite like this before. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. Kim Kardashian didn't leave when the match ended. She walked toward the tunnel, and what happened next became the most shared image of the entire Italian Open. Stay with me, because this story goes so much deeper than a celebrity sighting. Let's go back 24 hours before any of this happened, because to understand the magnitude of what unfolded in Rome, you need to understand who Alex is. Not the ranking, not the highlights reel, but the real story. She's 20 years old, Filipino. And she carries something on her shoulders that most athletes twice her age would buckle under. Every time she walks onto a court, she isn't just representing herself. She's representing an entire nation that wakes up at 3 a.m. to watch her play. Families crowded around phones, office workers sneaking live streams under their desks, kids painting their cheeks red, white, and blue in cities thousands of miles from wherever she's competing. The term Alex effect was coined by tournament staff, not fans, because the logistics of managing her matches had become something they'd never dealt with before. Not with Federer, not with Serena. Something about this girl was different, and even the people running the tournaments couldn't fully explain it. What they could explain, though, was the flag count. At the Italian Open alone, security logged over 6,000 Filipino fans entering the Foro Italico across 3 days. 6,000 people who flew to Rome, booked hotels, took time off work, all to watch a 20-year-old who, by every statistical measure, was not supposed to be there. Because before this tournament even started, she had already done something remarkable. Her first match, world number 45. A grinder, a veteran, the kind of player who eats young talent for breakfast. Alex won, but not cleanly. She dropped to 3-1 in the final set, faced 9 break points, saved 8 of them, and clawed her way back point by point like someone who simply refused to accept the alternative. The crowd was losing its mind. Then came round 2. Wang Yu-jun, the 31st seed, the player who had broken Alex's heart in Auckland just months earlier. That loss had stayed with her. You could see it in her post-match interviews. A quiet anger, controlled, channeled. She dismantled her in straight sets. Clean, clinical, almost cold. The rematch she needed delivered exactly the way she needed to deliver it. And now she was here. 3rd round, center court, the biggest stadium in the tournament. Against Elena Rybakina, reigning Australian Open champion, 29 wins already this season, 0 apologies for any of them. The odds makers had already written Alex's name out of the draw. The analysts had already started previewing the quarterfinals without her in it. The script was written. Alex just hadn't read it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because while Alex was in the locker room preparing for the biggest match of her clay season, something was happening in the stands that nobody at the tournament had anticipated. A black SUV pulled up to the VIP entrance. No announcement. No press release. The kind of arrival that only happens when someone specifically doesn't want to make a scene, which, if you know anything about Kim Kardashian, tells you everything. She had requested a front row seat through back channels 2 days earlier. She had been following Alex's tournament from Los Angeles quietly. The way people watch things that genuinely move them rather than things they want to be seen watching. She sat down, and then the flags appeared. Thousands of them. Red, white, and blue, moving in waves so synchronized it looked choreographed. The chant started low, then built, then filled every corner of the Foro Italico like a sound the ancient stadium had been waiting its whole life to hear. Kim leaned over to the tournament official beside her and asked one question. Just one. "What is this?" The official had answered that question before, for celebrities, for dignitaries, for people who had never seen anything like it. He smiled and said, "This is Alex, and wherever she goes, her people follow." Kim didn't respond. She just turned back toward the court, and she didn't look away for the next 92 minutes. The match started, and Rybakina was everything the rankings said she would be. 6 aces, 0 double faults. The kind of serve that doesn't ask for your opinion, it just tells you what's happening. Her ground strokes were surgical. Her movement was almost insulting in how effortless it looked. She was the number 2 player in the world, and she was playing like it. But Alex stepped inside the baseline from the very first game. She wasn't there to defend. She wasn't there to survive. She was there to compete. And from the first exchange, something became clear that the analysts hadn't accounted for. Alex wasn't intimidated, not even slightly. She took Rybakina's pace and redirected it. She moved the world number 2 side to side, forced her into positions she wasn't used to, and played with a freedom that made the 40,000 people in that stadium forget, just for a moment, what the rankings said. Kim was leaning forward in her seat by the 3rd game. By the 5th, her hands were clasped in front of her face. She had sat courtside at NBA Finals. She had watched World Championship boxing matches from the front row. Nothing had looked like this, because this wasn't just athleticism. This was something else entirely. The first set was a war. Alex fired 13 winners, her highest in a single set all season. Rybakina fired 17, and the set stayed on serve deep into the second half. Then came the 9th game, Rybakina serving. Alex standing at the other end of the court, completely focused. One break point, one rally, 12 shots, each one pushing Rybakina further back, further sideways, further out of her comfort zone. Then a short ball. Alex stepped in. The forehand went down the line like she had practiced. That exact shot 10,000 times, because she had. The ball landed flush on the baseline. Rybakina watched it go. The stadium didn't just cheer, it detonated. Kim Kardashian was on her feet. She didn't plan to stand up. She just did. "She's incredible," she said to no one in particular. The person beside her nodded. "She's just getting started." That line would mean something different a few minutes later, because the first set slipped away. Rybakina's experience, her composure, the sheer weight of her championship pedigree, it was too much. She took the set. And instead of deflating, instead of retreating into survival mode, Alex came out for the second set and played harder. This is the part of the story that Kim would later say changed something in her. Because losing a set to the second best player in the world can break you in ways that don't show up on a scoreboard. The self-doubt creeps in, the legs get heavy, the crowd gets quieter. That's what usually happens. Alex went down 3-1 in the second set. The flags dipped slightly, the chants softened. And then without warning, without any dramatic gesture or visible shift in emotion, Alex broke back. Just like that. 2-3, then 3-3. Then the crowd remembered how to breathe again, and they breathed loud. They breathed together, and the Foro Italico became something that had nothing to do with tennis anymore. Kim had stopped checking her phone. She had stopped, acknowledging the people around her. She was just watching, completely absorbed. The way you watch something that you know, instinctively, you will remember for the rest of your life. "She's not afraid of her," Kim said quietly. The official beside her didn't hesitate. "No," he said. "She's never afraid." Rybakina closed out the second set. The final score read 6-4, 6-3. A straight sets win for the world number 2. On paper, it looks comfortable. On paper, it looks like exactly what everyone predicted. But paper doesn't capture the 32 unforced errors Alex dragged out of a player who almost never makes unforced errors. Paper doesn't capture the multiple breaks of serve against a woman whose serve is considered one of the most dominant weapons in the sport. Paper doesn't capture the hour and 32 minutes of relentless, fearless, technically precise tennis from a 20-year-old who had absolutely no business making the world number 2 work that hard, and did it anyway. Alex walked off that court with her head up. Not the head up of someone pretending not to be devastated. The head up of someone who knows exactly what they just did and refuses to apologize for how close it was. The flags waved one final time. The chants echoed one final time. And Kim Kardashian, still standing, watched her walk toward the tunnel and made a decision that nobody around her expected. She told her security team she needed to get to the player's exit. Now. What happened? Next unfolded in under 4 minutes and produced an image that would be seen by over 30 million people before midnight. Alex was near the tunnel, signing autographs, her racket bag over her shoulder, her face tired but open, the way faces look after everything has been given and there's nothing left to perform. The fans around her parted. Alex looked up. And for a half second, her expression did something unscripted and completely human. Her eyes went wide, and then she smiled the way people smile when something impossible is standing directly in front of them. "You were amazing out there," Kim said. Simple, direct, no performance in it. Alex shook her hand and said thank you, and Kim looked at her for a moment before saying something that the cameras caught but the microphones barely picked up. "I've seen Serena. I've seen Naomi. I've watched the best compete on the biggest stages in the world." A pause. "I've never seen anyone fight like you just did." Alex's eyes glistened. Everything she had been carrying, the nation on her back, the pressure of the draw, the weight of a loss that wasn't really a loss. All of it surfaced in that moment. And then Kim did something nobody had scripted. She opened her arms. Alex stepped in. The hug lasted several seconds. Warm, real, completely unplanned. The cameras were rolling. The photographers were shooting. And every single person standing in that tunnel went completely quiet. When they pulled apart, Kim already had her phone out. "My daughters are never going to believe this," she said. Alex laughed. A real laugh. The kind that releases something. They took the photo. 2 women, arms around each other, smiling like they'd known each other for years. Hours later, Kim posted it. The caption read, "Watching Alex compete today was one of the most inspiring things I've ever witnessed. The way she fights, the way her people show up for her, the way she carries herself with grace and power. She's not just a tennis player, she's a movement. 20 million likes in 24 hours. But none of that, not the likes, not the shares, not the 30 million views on the hug video, none of it was the part that sent the tennis world into a frenzy. It was the last line of the caption. 6 words. We're working on something special. That was it. No details. No hints. Just 6 words from a woman who built a billion-dollar empire on knowing exactly what to say and exactly when to say it. The speculation exploded within minutes. Because this wasn't the beginning of Kim's connection to Alex, it was a continuation of one that had already been quietly building. Alex had been seen wearing Nike Skims pink athleisure at Indian Wells months earlier. The caption on that post, "On Wednesdays we wear pink," had generated millions of impressions. The collaboration already existed in some form. What Kim was hinting at was something bigger, something that hadn't been announced yet, something that, based on everything we know about how Kim operates, was already fully planned before she ever stepped foot in that stadium. And that's the detail that reframes this entire story. Kim Kardashian didn't stumble upon Alex at the Italian Open. She chose to be there. She chose the front row. She chose to stay for the whole match. She chose to walk to that tunnel. Every single part of what looked spontaneous was, in some way, intentional. And that intentionality says more about what Alex has built than any ranking ever could. Because Kim Kardashian has access to every athlete, every celebrity, every cultural moment on the planet. She chooses carefully. She invests in movements, not moments. And when she looked at Alex, at the flags, at the chants, at the 6,000 people who flew to Rome to watch a 20-year-old play tennis, she didn't see a promising young athlete. She saw something that transcended sport entirely. Alex, for her part, said it best in the brief interview she gave after the encounter. She didn't have to come. She didn't have to stay. She watched the whole match and then she hugged me. A pause, then quietly. I don't know what I did to deserve this week, but I'm grateful, so grateful. She lost the match. The scoreboard said so clearly. But she left Rome with a ranking jump to 38 in the world, a viral moment seen by tens of millions, a deepening partnership with one of the most powerful brand builders on earth, and the kind of cultural footprint that most athletes spend entire careers trying to build. The question now isn't whether Alex belongs among the best in the world. Rome answered that. The question is, what happens when the most talked about 20-year-old in tennis teams up with the woman who turned a name into a global empire? And the answer to that question, whatever it turns out to be, is going to be impossible to look away from.